Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm the Obscure Angel PT, and for today what I have in here, it is a classic game that have been remade. So it's the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. So this game was developed by the Vicarious Visions and ported by Iron Galaxy to the PC, and they are using their internal engine to power up this game. So first of all, probably many of you guys, you don't probably know Crash Bandicoot, but probably you know Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog are the developers behind games like Uncharted, The Last of Us, so great exclusive titles from PlayStation. Naughty Dog was present on those projects. And it was one of their first projects. Okay, it was not the first one, but it was one of the first projects for Sony, and it is Crash Bandicoot. It was an insane game that was released on the PS1 at the time. It was an exclusive, and so that is why this is so important for today. The game is not developed by the Naughty Dog anymore, but this team, the Vicarious Visions, decided to remake the game and release it on the Sony system, I mean on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, I mean, during with an exclusive, a temporary exclusive for 1 year. And now it's available for Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and also, of course, the PC. So this is the graphical settings that I'm going to use to play this game. Yes, it is 900p, and I understand that you want to see results of 1080p with multiple different settings. And of course, like always, I will show you the results that I got with 1080p on low settings, medium settings, high settings, or ultra settings. But for me, for my personal experience, I prefer to go with 900p and use the median settings and enjoy some 60 frames per second in this game. But let's just jump to the results. I tested two different levels. I tested the Wumpa Islands, which is the second level that you will find on the game. And as you can see, whatever the settings you go with this game, you will get an experience above 30 frames per second. So if your target is 30 frames per second, you can use the maximum settings 1080p, because you will get those 30 frames per second or above. I would still use probably high settings, because it delivers a good average overall. You get an average of 53 and the 1% of 46, so it's a great boost in performance comparing to the ultra settings, and to be honest, the difference is barely noticeable in the graphics quality, so I think it's worth for you to drop from the ultra settings to the high settings. But that was the second level, so I decided to try, since this is a trilogy, this includes the 3 games of the series, I decided to go to the second game, which is as demanding as the third game, and it's a little bit more demanding than the first game. And as you can see, the experience is overall pretty much the same, with the exception of maintaining the 900p with the with the median settings. It's not that easy anymore. There is a drop here and there, but overall the experience is 60 frames per second. And for me, this is a great advantage comparing to the consoles, and this is one of the things that I want to point out. I'm not anti-console or anything, but I'm really disappointed to see that, for example, PS4 Pro or Xbox One X only allows you to play this game at 30 frames per second. And in my personal experience, this platform game should be enjoyed at 60 frames per second, no matter the cost. And so that's where I felt comfortable, and that's why I decided to go with 900p median settings. That's because I feel that the game at 60 frames per second feels much more responsive, much more playable, and despite downgrading graphics, I still think that this is probably a much better experience than playing the game at 30 frames per second at 4K or 1440p. I do prefer usually performance over graphics, usually, but there are games that I really want to have that eye candy to boost the graphics quality. But in games like Crash Bandicoot, I really think that frame rate, it is much more important than high candy, and that is a really big difference comparing those frame rates between the two of them. The bad news is that for users that do use high refresh rate screens like 120 Hz or 144 Hz, well, in that case, I have bad news. The game, it's completely capped to 60 frames per second. You can choose the cap between 30 or 60, but you can go above 60 frames per second according to the frame limiter, okay? So overall, I think that's all that I want to say about Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the video. I will play a little bit more on this level, and I will play a little bit more on two more levels. For you to have an idea how the game looks and feels, and in case you don't know the game, you will understand what is this about. This is one of the first platform games to exist in 3D, and it's completely remade. It was completely remade by this producer. At the time, there was not too much platformers. Most of the platformers were 2D, just like Sonic or stuff like that. This was one of the first platform games using 3D, and that's why this game it was so important. Not only it was a nice game and fun, and it is very fun to play, it was one of the great achievements in technological advancements, and of course Naughty Dog was responsible for that. Okay, so guys, with this I will shut up myself in here. In case you want to buy the game, you can go to Steam. You can get the game from $40, but if you buy it through Kinguin, you can get it from $30, which is $10 cheaper. So I think it's a good advantage if you want to buy through Kinguins. I have a link on the description for both of the stores, so you decide if you want to buy the game, which price do you want to pay for the game, or where do you want to buy it. Okay, and that's it. So guys, thank you a lot for watching. I hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.